7. I have never talked.
You have more. There's more. There's neighbors that have literally heard you say it.
London. I have never talked to Calix, Jareth, or
I mean, hey, you know what? Yeah, actually, I'd like that idea. Let's see. Let's see if she would have lasted. Let's find someone. Let's find a 35-year-old female.
As far as
a Jeek's build.
Israel's concerned, he said I called him a slave. I have never called anyone a slave in my life. Not an adult, not a child. Just something.
I don't believe that one. He looks like someone that would call somebody that or refer to somebody as that.
I wouldn't do.
At some point, come on now. You're how old? You're 58. Yeah, you've said it once.
I called him the N-word is ridiculous. I've never called anyone.
You no, okay, no.
I don't understand. I was married to a non-white man. He was actually Middle Eastern, brown skin. I would never do that to a child ever. And I sang professionally in New York. I did jazz and the blues. I sang for.
Oh, guys, she would never call people that. She hung out with black guys. She used to hang out with black guys all the time in New York.
Charles Gamble, Ernie Susser, and I had voice coach Jim Gassett, who had people in Dreamgirls.
She was in blues and jazz, of course. All the other black people. So why would she use the kind of language towards people?
And I sang with Larry Woodard from the Metropolitan Opera. Larry's black. Charles is black. Our penis was black. Most of the girls who sang with him.
Dude. I can't be. I couldn't have been racist to this woman. Here's all my black friends. Fuck off.
And did jazz, all black. I never had a problem with a black person in my life. This is not about race. And I actually love children. I have taught horseback riding lessons, dressage and hunter equitation. I've taught swimming at summer camp. I was a big sister for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And if it wasn't for having cancer, I had uterine and ovarian cancer in my 30s. I would have had my children. And it's one of the reasons why I had issues with the gentleman I was with.
I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad you didn't have children. I'm just going to say it. I'm glad you never had children and you never fucking cursed this earth with your fucking seed.
I have another child and I felt I was stopping him. That said, I would like to make a statement to AJ's mom.
And I want to preface that, or I want to emphasize that it's not something I say to most people. But like, yes, this is I have never cared less about somebody's fucking story because I already went through. It was similar to the Sarah Boone case, where everything around this person that's at the center of this accusation and this trial, everything around them does not line up with their center story. Their cinematic universe is not aligned with ours. It's just, unfortunately, that is literally what we end up focusing on is like people's cinematic universes not lining up with the real one. And it's just so pathetic, dude.
I write this letter to you. First and foremost, I'm so sorry that I took AJ's life. I never intended to kill her. The night I shot that gun, I was confused as to why she was screaming and pounding on my door.
Why are you firing a gun if you didn't plan on intending on killing somebody? That's what I don't understand. Why would you point the gun at the door that is being knocked on if you didn't plan on killing somebody? Yeah, this is all headcanon.
I had hit him. I could not understand why she was so angry. And she truly scared me. Now that I know he told her I hit him, I'm just profoundly.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes me so angry about this. I'm not even a gun person. I like guns. I've shot guns over the years before streaming. I don't give a shit about guns that much. But like the first rule is that whatever you're pointing that gun at, You should not point it at something unless you intend on killing or severely impairing that thing. I don't give a fuck if it's a human, an animal, a fucking can of beer, a watermelon. You don't aim a fucking firearm at something unless you plan on maiming? I think it would have been killing or disarming. Yes. And then if you intend to shoot, you intend to kill. That is how you handle that. There's not really any other way going about it. And if you want to, and if someone wants to argue with me, respectfully, I'll call you retarded because you don't fuck around with something like a firearm. You don't point a firearm at a fucking gun without intending to kill somebody. Like, you don't sit there and say, I didn't intend to kill. No one fucking cares. It's too late. You did that anyway.
Sad. Not only did a mother die, but a daughter and a sister. I think of your family's loss and know how hard it is to lose someone you love. How if you see that person, look at that person, or just talk to that person with such an empty feeling. I so wish I could go back and change things so that she was still here. I would trade my life.
Yeah, but even then, you don't fire the gun. You're not the one that fires it. But at the same time, there are a whole plethora of non-lethal tactics that you can take that don't involve a firearm.
So that she could be here, if it were possible. I know that you have.
You don't fuck with firearms unless you plan on killing something, or at a range shooting to get better at your firearm skills.
Her loss, and I have prayed for you and your family during this time so that you can, that God could help you. Nothing I can do will change the outcome. I can only tell you I have cried and I feel horrible for my actions. Please accept my humble and sincere apology for this tragedy.
No, you deserve to rot in prison.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Not for witnesses, Judge, no.
Okay. Any argument you'd like to make out there?
All right, let's bring in our guest. Joining us to discuss, attorney and former prosecutor Tommy Pope. Tommy, great to see you. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on the program. And here's what I got to say about what
lawyer could state, the jury has spoken, we respect that.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. That's all she had to do. Literally. You're right. 1,000% right, Harris. That's the alternative, and that's the actual solution. It's not it's not even like, it doesn't even need to be an alternative. That's literally the route that you take. Because guess what? Without giving away too much, there's a point where I was trying to defend someone near me, physically near me, from getting from domestic violence. And so when I stepped in, and the man who is probably at least half a foot taller than me, no, he's at least got 4 inches on me, right? 4 to 5 inches, I'd say. And built bigger than me and everything. He charged at me. You know what I did? I shut the door, I locked it, deadbolted and everything, and I called the fucking cops. I didn't go grab a firearm, I didn't go grab a fucking weapon. Well, yeah, they're assisted blades. And unfortunately, there's some defense mechanisms that are illegal now.
Way that the court is used to hearing, and then let her just do the plea of I'm sorry and I wish it was me, not your mother type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the best approach that I would have taken, Tommy, is explain to the judge why she ended up in that situation. So if you take some of the mental health,
I see her getting up, if not the max, at least up in the middle range for sure.
In regards to medication, briefly, Judge, we heard from Dr. Castillo. I mean, obviously, she testified that Susan Lawrence suffers from chronic PTSD that's not related to substance abuse or addiction, and she's very amenable to treatment. In regards to medication and therapy, Ms. Lawrence has had a hard life. and all of the traumatic experiences that she has dealt with leading up to this incident affected her capacity to appreciate the criminal nature of her conduct due to the chronic PTSD. In regards to 3C, we heard testimony during the trial from the state's own witnesses that, unfortunately, Ms. Owens did come to Susan Lawrence's home that night, and multiple state witnesses testified that she was banging on the door and the sliding glass door aggressively. Susan Lawrence has absolutely no prior criminal record whatsoever, and by all accounts from the witness testimony here today, she was a productive member of society and has been almost her entire life. She fired one single shot through a door, so it's the defense's position that this was committed in an unsophisticated manner.
I like how they didn't point out. They pointed out that it was a single shot through the door, but that single shot was what took a life. Like that's the difference. Is like she can have PTSD. She can have no prior charges or instances, right? But the second you fire a gun and you take someone's life, you have to pay consequences for that. In 11 and a half years, less than 11 and a half years is not enough. She deserves to rot in fucking jail for the mistake that she made. There's consequences for our actions.
Shown remorse, I think, throughout the trial testimony regarding the letter that Susan had wrote to the children during her interviews, as well as the statement that she has made here today. I think it's clear that she shows remorse for what happened. Based on all the testimony, we would ask the court to depart from the sentencing guidelines and sentence her to, I think it's 538 days credit time served and probation so that she can get the mental health treatment that she needs.
Wait, they're asking less than 5 in therapy. No. Kill yourself.
As a condition of that.
In a video game, you don't deserve any of that. You don't deserve anything close to that.
Yes, sir.
Credit for 538 days.
That's correct, Judge.
Is there any, from the state, is there any...
Someone's life was lost. That's no 11 and a half years doesn't even touch. She should have at least 15, if not longer. If not closer to 30. Because 30 is the maximum. I think she should get maximum. I think that she should get maximum, and I'm going to explain why. I think that she should get maximum because she wants to sit here and still, to this day, after the trial process, still think that she was in her rights to kill somebody.
No mandatory minimum.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, in regards to the downward departure arguments made by defense counsel, one, they claim that the defendant requires specialized treatment and is amenable to treatment.
Kidnapping, things that don't take people's lives, those have sit in more time than this. Than what they're asking.
The defendant's PTSD diagnosis was not the cause of this shooting.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Her testimony today, and it seems that the area of the defendant's social functioning that has been affected by her purported PTSD the most is her ability to form close relationships. That's not the type of behavior involved in this case.
Yes, it's not.
The defendant's worst period of PTSD symptoms were when she was in her 20s.
Probation.
That's about 4 years ago. The defendant has only reported seeking help for PTSD twice in her life that we know of. One in the 80s and one approximately 5 years before this incident. But there's no treatment notes. Just a 4-page document is the only information we have. The defendant
not enough.
Quit treatment, that she does distrust providers, that she has not stayed with any type of treatment that she's had in the past. And so there's not a reasonable possibility that such treatment will be successful. There's also mental health treatment.
And like she's shaking her head like, no, that's not true. Okay, then where's the paperwork to line that up? Where's the paperwork? Where's any paperwork dignifying any of your defense of PTSD and everything? Because they're right. The state is correct. It's not a driving force. You don't get to use that as your defense if there's nothing to back it up.
Treatment that is accessible to inmates in the Department of Corrections. And when the defendant made her statement, she listed many things, many problems, including 25 knee surgeries, and a host of other medical problems, but I believe the only mention of PTSD was the statement that I know I have PTSD. So, Your Honor, again, PTSD was not the driving force in this case. It is not a basis for a downward departure. Number two, whether the defendant had the capacity to appreciate the criminal nature of the conduct involved in this case or confirm her conduct to the requirements of the law, and whether or not that was substantially impaired. Your Honor, the defendant had the full capacity to understand what was going on the night of the incident. The defendant took pictures. She took cell phone videos of what was going on leading up to the incident. She knew what was happening. She confronted the children about what was happening. She called 911 and talked about what was happening. She talked about her statements to police about what was going on in the apartment, about being in the bathroom, washing her hands, going to the kitchen, getting the gun, returning and shooting Miss Owens through a locked door. And she claimed she all did it in self-defense. This was not an instance where her nature or her ability to appreciate the criminal nature of the conduct was impaired.
Oh, also, let's not forget how she tried to make it seem like when talking to officers, made it seem like she was in self-defense. And do you know why she falls so hard on the self-defense claim? It's because she did research on how to go about it. Where's it at? Damn, I actually did pretty good notes with this. And the fact of I'm like, bam, claims that it shot through the door in self-defense. She had training and at least a little beyond around for her firearms, but was making attempts to self-train with her firearm. Oh, yeah. She learned it from TV. Is some of the language she used. She had researched prior to. Let's see here. Where's it at? I know I have it in my notes. Where she looked up. Oh, yeah. She gave this really sob story about her friend that was sexually assaulted, bound, and gagged and killed when she was 14, and all this shit.
Nor was her ability to conform her conduct to the requirements of the law or impaired. Again, that is not a basis for downward departure in this case. As to the victim was initiator, willing participant, aggressor, or provoker, again, this is not a situation where Ajika Owens just walked over to the defendant's apartment for no reason. There's a history of the defendant having issues with the children and Miss Owens responding to those issues. The night of this incident followed that exact same pattern, and the course of events were set in place by the defendant engaging with the children. In the defendant's interview, she admitted she told the children on the night of the incident, "Go get your mom, I don't care." Again, Ajika Owens did not walk over to the defendant's apartment with a gun, a knife, or a weapon.
She literally told the kids to go get their mom, and then came and then when the mom came, followed through with what she had said. She shot her. It's crazy.
She was not trying to break into the house. She was not the initiator, willing participant, aggressor, or provoker. That is not a basis for a downward departure either. Was this offense committed in an unsophisticated manner, isolated incident, defendant has shown remorse?
She looks like such a different person. Yeah, well, and that's because she has been trying to, because she thinks that she was defending herself. And that she is being wrongfully convicted. I promise you. That's why. She's been driving herself crazy, trying to understand why she's being wrongfully convicted. Why me? Why am I the one that had, I was just defending myself. I thought I was gonna die. No, you weren't.
Just 2 guns that night, 22 caliber, 380 caliber. She went and
Plus, murdering somebody will really fucking take a toll on you physically.
The larger caliber weapon in this case, not the 22. She grabbed the 380. And this was not an incident where the defendant did not know what was going on and fired a bunch of sporadic shots in fear. The defendant fired one aimed shot at the door that struck and killed Miss Owens. And again, this is not, while the shooting may have been a one-time event, again, this was a pattern of behavior involving the children and the defendant and Miss Owens in this case. Your Honor, there is no basis for a downward departure in this case.
The defendant had access to 2 guns and retrieved the larger caliber weapon. That is something I'm really glad that they're putting up on the screen that we should not fucking forget, is that she grabbed the larger caliber. She knew what she was fucking doing, at least to enough degree that she needs to be held accountable for her
The
actions.
defendant has failed to prove that there is a valid legal ground to support a downward departure. Based on the totality of the circumstances, the court should
God, I need to trim my nose.
The defendant took the life of Ajika Owens, a 35-year-old mother who was her neighbor, and Ms. Owens was a mother of 4. The interests of justice are best served by sentencing the defendant to 30 years in the Department of Corrections, which is the maximum sentence in this case. So in addition to 30 years in the Department of Corrections, the state would also ask for $100 cost of
We
prosecution.
need to take a break here. When we come back, the judge issues his sentence. Keep it here on Court.
Being able to treat
Ability or any of your crimes.
Only on Court TV.
PTSD, which is a recognized mental disorder and is unrelated to substance abuse or addiction, and that she is amenable to treatment. So I do find she would qualify for that departure. On your second one, the capacity of the defendant to appreciate the criminal nature of the conduct, I don't find there was sufficient evidence to prove that departure. There was no indication that she ever did not understand what she was doing, or that shooting at a person would be against the law, or that she couldn't conform with the law in any way. As a matter of fact, she seemed to be, prior to the shooting, calling the police. So it didn't appear to be any situation where her capacity was impaired in any way.
Yeah.
I don't find there's evidence that the victim was the initiator, willing participant, aggressor. or
Thank
perpetrator of the
you.
incident.
Yes.
Otherwise, although she was knocking loudly in this case, there was no real attempt to get in the residence. She didn't ask
Yes.
her to come outside.
Yes. Cooker, Judge.
I don't find that that departure
Cooker, Your Honor.
has been met. Despite the existence
Lock her up
of
for
one
30.
legitimate departure reason, even if she did qualify for the other 2 departure reasons, I would not depart in this case.
Yes.
Because I find that the aggravated nature of this case and this offense and the harm inflicted outweighs the mitigation or the departure.
Yeah.
Outweigh the totality of the whole case. So I find that the seriousness of the offense outweighs any legal departures that could be.
Ooh, I
applied in
like
case.
this feels good.
I'm primarily looking at the harm inflicted upon not only the victim, who of course
But
lost
the
her life,
children.
but her family.
Yes.
She has 4 children, all of whom were present during the offense or somewhere in the general vicinity,
They all heard the gunshot.
or at least home. It certainly will have a traumatic impact on their lives
Yes.
for the rest of their lives. They'll live their whole lives without their mother, which I think is a very significant harm inflicted upon them.
Yeah, she wants to cry PTSD at 53 years old. I'm sorry. You just majorly, way more than what you had been traumatized with, just traumatized all 4 children of hers.
By Ms. Lawrence. When I look at the nature of the offense, I find that the shooting was completely unnecessary in this case.
Thank
Ms. Lawrence
you.
was behind the door was locked.
Ooh, lock
She
her
had
up.
already called law enforcement. They were en
Lock
route.
her up.
She knew they were en route. She was in a relatively safe position. For some reason, she went into her room and found a gun. She could have stayed in the room and put another locked door between her
Yes.
and Miss Owens, but she came back out, put herself in front of the door, and at the time she fired the gun through the door, she was safe. Miss Owens was
Yes.
simply, although she was clearly banging loudly and was probably very angry over the whole situation, it appears to be she was mostly demanding that Miss Lawrence come outside, which would indicate she had no indication of coming inside the house.
Correct.
So when Miss Lawrence fired the gun through the door, she did so knowing a person was directly on the other side of the door. And she knew that person wasn't a burglar, she wasn't a robber, she wasn't a rapist. She knew she was probably upset about the interaction with the kids, but she had arguments with her before, and no real harm came other than, I guess, a sign was thrown at her, a paper sign. And that's when she decided to shoot. I find that the shooting...
Look, she's going to say it wasn't paper. Lady, unless it was a fucking metal sign and it hit you in the fucking head or broke your leg, that doesn't justify taking her life. That doesn't justify you being fearful for your life.
I listened to every aspect of the trial and every aspect of sentencing here. It's... the facts don't rise to a murder charge, but they are very aggravated manslaughter.
Yeah.
Because this case, the shooting was based, I find, more on anger than fear.
Yes.
Pretty well
established. Yes, because she said, go ahead, go get your mother. I don't care.
Case.
And yep. The judge is right on this.
And believe me, I find that she's a victim of child sex abuse was a significant mitigating factor.
It doesn't, but it doesn't.
Criminal record, which is also a significant factor.
But it's not
We also have
enough.
Tremendous harm inflicted upon this family. and the
Yes.
victim's family. So what I'm going to do in this case is she be adjudicated guilty of manslaughter with a firearm and order to serve 25 years in the Department of Corrections.
Yes! 25!
Woo! $100 cost of prosecution, $100 fine, court cost. Good luck to you, ma'am. You have 30 days to appeal. Is the defense requesting the appointment of public defender for purposes of appeal?
All right, well, I'll be keeping my eye out for that appeal, baby.
On the record, there was never an offer by the state. The state had asked us to make any reasonable offers. Ms. Lawrence chose not to do that, just for the record. We also did not file a stand your ground motion for strategic purposes. And that was also discussed with Ms. Lawrence as well. Just wanted to put that on the record. That's it, Judge.
25 years. 25. Which, hey, you know what though? 25 is more than, like, that is enough. I think that 25 is enough for this, because she will sit all 25 years of that in prison thinking that she that she was in the wrong, that she got screwed over. I promise you.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you,
The judge was like, it was very clear that she was not in harm. Her life was not in danger. It was very clear that this was not out of fear, that this is not done out of fear. This is done out of anger.
Judge. Would be excused.
Have a very nice day.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so Susan Lorenz sentenced to 25 years in prison. There was a statutory range from 11.5 to 30, but the defense had gone as far as asking for a downward departure to the point of just probation, which I found interesting. But the judge essentially found that the seriousness of the act, the seriousness of the crime, outweighs any mitigating factors.
Yeah.
So 25 years in prison for Susan Lorenz.
That's right. And as you mentioned, she could theoretically only serve 85% of that for good behavior, and that would mean 21 years served. She's 60 now, so she's looking at 81 before she even might get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's going to be dicey if she makes it anywhere past 15 years. Mostly because of her pre-existing health issues that she's had and her age. I don't think the prison system is going to be good for her. But I do agree. I think that this is the sentencing she deserved and needed.
Yes, joining us still to discuss, attorney and former prosecutor Tommy Pope.
Oh, that's a good way to end it. That's a good note to end it on for the stream tonight. Oh, goddamn.
Effect on the situation. She fully understood what she did. She shot out of anger more than fear. I thought that was significant. And finally, he didn't find that the victim was in any way the provoker of this incident. I thought that was significant as well. Your thoughts on the sentence?
I thought it was a fair sentence. I thought, he delineated things, I mean, quite candidly, with much more detail than I've heard in a lot of our cases. But he told you where he was thinking. Now, when he led off with recognizing mitigation.
Wait, they're saying that Lighthouse is ranked better than fucking Midsommar? I didn't know Talk to Me was okay.
Beginning, I think it was the PTSD. I was thinking, man, this may be heading toward a downward departure. But
shit. Who watched Lighthouse and watched Pearl? See, I haven't watched Midsommar yet. I've heard really fucking good things about it. We did watch The Lighthouse like a week or two ago. It was really, really, really fucking good. Was it better? I think it was better than Pearl. Like, Pearl was good on its own. For like just a slasher film, like a good like unravel. I need to. I'm trying. Maxine. I think I'm gonna watch Maxine tonight. I'm trying to figure out what I want to watch tomorrow. Like in Discord. Because I want to do another.
I thought he struck a good balance. He recognized the loss of the kids, and that's going to have kind of a ripple effect, because not having mother in the house. We talk about stability, not having.
2017.
Good afternoon. You must be Martin.
Sorry, I'm trying to find movies now.
Thank you very much, Martin. I love roses.
The kids' rooms are amazing. So big and bright. I love this neighborhood. So quiet, clean, beautiful.
Interesting cast.
We live in a not so nice neighborhood in a not so nice house.
What a charming boy. How did his father die?
A surgeon never kills a patient. An anesthesiologist can kill a patient, but a surgeon never can.
We don't have to worry about nothing. 'Cause we got the fire, and we're burning one hell of a something. They're gonna see
Psychological horror? Okay.
I'm really sorry about Bod.
It's nothing serious.
No, it is.
Like we're the stars of the human race, human race.
Where did you two go?
When the lights started out, they don't know what they heard. Strike the match, play it loud.
He's got issues. Serious psychological issues.
We'll be raising our hands.
Can you do something to put an end to all of
The
this?
sky, 'cause we got the fire, fire, fire.
Don't be scared, Mom.
Yeah, we got
You'll
the
see.
fire,
You won't be able to move either. So
and
get
we're
used to
gonna
it.
let burn, burn, burn.
Where is she? What did you do to her?
Let it burn, 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 burn.
And I don't understand why I should have to pay the price. Why my children should have to pay the price.
Open the door! I will smash it down!
It's the only thing I can think of as close to justice.
We can let it out, so they can put it out, out, out.
What's this on? Oh, another Max one. Okay. Maybe we'll watch that one tomorrow. Oh, I might have to. Which one's this? Service Cinemax. Okay. The Witch is one that was recommended. Oh, X is the other one that okay. So X and Maxine are from like the I had to okay, what's X on? Is this on the Max too? Oh yeah, and this has got the chick from Pearl. Oh, right. Okay, so it's interesting. Mia Goth. Okay. Ghost of the Devil? In this one?
I can tell you like it.
I love it. It's perfect.
About the deposit, I'll agree to waive all the deposit stuff. You just give me the first month's down, we'll call it a day, all right? It's hard coming up with all that money, isn't it?
It's gonna work out.
You're not the one with $84 in her bank account and a check to write on Monday.
You know what you should do?
Hi, I'm calling in regards to the babysitter flyer posted outside my dorm.
Tonight's big eclipse is now well underway.
I feel a little weird just dropping you out here in the middle of wherever we are.
Oh, I fucked it up. Ugh. Okay, so you need to watch X tonight then. Because Maxine's on, yeah, okay. What's Hereditary? 'Cause that one looked really good too. Dude, watching, I just been on this big psychological horror kick. Man, the White House was really fucking good, actually. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's fucking good. If you haven't, go watch it. It's insanely good. What's it? Is it on Max? I think it's on Max. Yeah, there's a lot of A24 films on Max, it seems. Midsommar's and my fucking Midsommar's coming up soon. I need to watch that, but I want to make sure I got like Nikki and I'm with it because I don't think Nikki's seen it. I need to rewatch the menu. So, okay, who's live? Luke is live. You know what's funny? All right, I'm gonna send you guys over to Wicca. In the meantime, I will be back on Wednesday. I'll be in Discord, probably watching movies tomorrow night. We'll watch, we'll watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer, at least. If you guys get a chance, throw that message into Wicca's chat, and then come hang out on Wednesday. Make sure you guys get plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, get something to eat. And yeah, I'll see you guys Wednesday night. Good night.